Hello, my name is Dominic Berry and I'm here to talk about the PlayStation Vita, specifically the ports of Mortal Kombat and Injustice. Are they any good, and is there any reason why you should be playing these today? Well, let me say, I am a casual gamer who lives in a cold flat in the north of Manchester. That's why I'm in a dressing gown. And I am no good at games. I pour hours into playing them, but I'm not an expert. Mortal Kombat on the PS3 and Xbox had been the relaunch to the franchise, having not had the best reviews for Mortal Kombat versus DC or even Armageddon, really. So it was the big comeback for the game. And what I love is the spectacle. Like, the early 2010s was such a good time for fighting games. After Street Fighter 4 had kicked everything off again, we were getting them thick and fast. We had Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Dead or Alive 5, we had PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, little guilty pleasure of mine, Street Fighter, Cross Tekken. All of these came out on the Vita as well. The Vita is a really great game system for fighters. And as you can see, the graphics look really good, unless you're in story mode. In Injustice and Mortal Kombat, the cutscenes aren't the best, but I'm going to talk a lot about my love for these. Now, of course, I grew up. Anyone who's seen my YouTube before will know how much I love the Game Gear. When I was a little lad, this was my first ever console. This is Mortal Kombat 1 on here. And I brought it around with me everywhere. And then as an adult, I was always travelling around for work. So I hadn't got my Game Gear anymore. I'd sold it. But I got a Vita. And before that, I'd got a PSP for travelling, so that in hotels, when I was away for jobs, I could still play. Now, this is what I grew up with, the choppy gaming of that. So for me, graphics, it's good when they're good, but the gameplay is always what mattered to me. And I think that the spectacle of the fatalities in Mortal Kombat 9, this really brought back amazing fatalities after the heroic brutalities of DC and the creator fatality of Armageddon. Like, this was so amazing to look at. And although Injustice doesn't have fatalities, it does have the stage transitions and the super moves, which take my breath away. I love how awesome they look. All I want from gaming is to be a ninja, or be a thunder god, or be Batman. Who doesn't want to be Batman? So I love that people who are actually good at games also enjoy these. But all I want is to have a bit of fantastical action. And the arcade modes with the arcade endings in both MK9 and Injustice, I think are brilliant. Really, really cool. I wasn't so fussed on like Mortal Kombat 9's challenge towers or all the different variable arcade modes of Injustice. Awesome that they're there. If you like them, super good. But for me, just the standard arcade mode where you earn an ending, it took me back to what the 90s fighting games were like. I think it's a real shame when fighters do not have a final boss and do not have a arcade ending. But more exciting was the story mode. I had thought that the story of Mortal Kombat versus DC wasn't even a story. It was just a series of things happening. And in my opinion, NetherRealm's era, Mortal Kombat 9, Injustice, it is plot. It is, I think, like Raiden is the main character of the Mortal Kombat 9 story mode more than Liu Kang. I really identify with him. I identify with his struggles, just wanting so much to do the right thing, even with the cutscenes not looking the best. I mean, I grew up with these graphics. Do you know what I mean? I can cope with graphics that are not stellar. So I'm really hooked by the story and the deaths. Now, I wondered, should I do spoilers for games this old? And you know what? I'm going to keep it spoiler free just in case you're like the one person in the universe who doesn't know what happens in the plot. But minor spoiler, characters die. Characters die. I remember the story of Mortal Kombat 9 being shocked at the deaths and thinking, please keep them dead. Don't do the Johnny Cage in Mortal Kombat 3 thing where he just comes back. Don't do that. And, you know, they do. There's the Revenant characters, the zombie characters. I think that the consequences of actions, characters being slain, makes it really exciting. I love Queen Sindel in Mortal Kombat 9. And I love, in the Injustice story, Lex Luthor and Deathstroke. They really get time to shine. If, like me, you do care about portable versions, then you might be interested that in Injustice, there's touch screen actions in the story mode. Like, there's little moments where you have to deflect bullets or something, and I quite like that. It's not too intrusive. It's it just adds to the fun. So I adore the story mode so very, very much. I'm not that fussed on the tag combat of Mortal Kombat 9, where you can you know, Street Fighter Cross Tekken, I don't want to be two guys. I want to be one person. I want to know that I'm on this side, the opponent's on the other side, and we have a one-on-one match, and my skill is being tested with one set of moves. It's just too much for my brain to be like, oh, swap over. And that extends to the cameo system of Mortal Kombat 1. It's not for me. It's not for me. But when I say how much I love this game, it's enough to love the arcade mode with its stunning fatalities and super moves, and it's enough to love the story mode. Is there any reason to play this today? Well, you know what? I think that game preservation really matters. Of course, this isn't as good as the Mega Drive version. It just isn't. And of course, the console versions are the best. But this is part of game history. I was there, man. I was there, man. And I was working in hotels, and I'd been so frustrated at games like the PlayStation Portable Soul Calibur that was so stripped back. The PlayStation Portable Soul Calibur, it's all right, but I love the arcade endings on the PS3 Soul Calibur, and they're not there. They're not there. It's so basic. They had the idea that portable players just want something instant, just like you'd get on these days on a mobile phone. And they didn't strip back this beauty, the fact that I could be actually playing the proper story mode in its entirety, getting proper arcade endings. When I play this, it takes me back. So as someone who, I'm in my 40s, aren't I? So nostalgia is like important to me. Even with the dodgy graphics, I really love it. No, there is no reason to play this if you have not played it already. Get the console versions, or if you want a portable experience, there are emulators, aren't there? There are emulators to take the best versions on tour. But this is what I say. The Game Gear didn't do as well as the Game Boy. The PS Vita didn't do as well as the PSP or the Nintendo DS had done. And these are like ahead of their time. They were consoles that were a bit more pricey, the Game Gear and the Vita, and I think suffered for how excellent they were because just people didn't want to pay that much money. And, you know, I was very, very privileged that although my family were not rich, we could I was able to have this. There's a lot of stuff I didn't have as a kid, but I did have this. So they're really ahead of their time. In this age where increasingly we don't own things, physical media is going out the window for like digital downloads that we don't necessarily get to preserve. I do not want remasters. I do not want remakes. I want to keep that wonderful nostalgia of the original. And you know what? If you're watching this and you are not a 45-year-old and you don't understand the pull of nostalgia, if you're playing an app on your mobile phone that you're like, yeah, I'm not that attached to it, well, you know what? Maybe you will be attached to it in the future when it's been deleted from the App Store and you cannot play it anymore. I feel so lucky that I've still got a PS Vita. And if you used to have one and you got shot of it and now you're like, oh, would I like playing it again? I wonder if you would. I treasure mine. I've got Dead or Alive 5 on there, Marvel vs. Capcom, Street Fighter Cross Tekken, even PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. I've even got that. So big shout out for Mortal Kombat 9 and Injustice 1 for kicking off their respective franchises in such a epic manner, still celebrated today, still thought of as excellent games, and rightly so. Big cheers for the Vita, for, you know, maybe it never got the love and respect it deserves, but it gets love and respect from me. I've been Dominic Berry. Thanks so much for watching my chat about what I reckon of these games. I love making these videos, so thanks so much for watching them. What do you reckon of the Vita? What are the games that you think really shine on this portable system? What did you think when NetherRealm Studios started the reboot of Mortal Kombat? Which is your favourite Mortal Kombat or Injustice in the series? Comment in the comment section if you'd like to chat about such things, because I always love getting back to people. Thanks for watching. Stay warm. Take care.